Hi there, thanks for joining tonight's Yin session, which will be 12 Yin Yoga postures, and these will all help to release tension, obviously increase flexibility, increase mobility in our joints, also awaken energy as we kind of stay in a posture for 3 or more minutes. We allow the energy to circulate. We're also stretching open the front of the body. So if you ever feel like you're tight and a bit closed in, this helps to stretch us open. The fascia, the connective tissue that surrounds our organs and our muscles and joints. So the fascia is all over the body. So sometimes we can feel like we're shrink wrapped. So this helps us to loosen off, feel more open, feel taller, feel more energized. Okay, so and some of the postures as well will help to improve our immune system. So great for this time of the year. So we're going to start with the first pose, which is butterfly. So there's different ways to do butterfly. So we can do butterfly at the wall, which is quite nice. It's quite intense for the first posture because we're ironing out all the kinks in the back. We could do seated butterfly with the soles of the feet together, or we can do reclining butterfly. So I'll show you all the options. So we're going to stay in the first posture about 5 minutes. So you might already know and have chosen which one you want to do. So it could be the yang butterfly, seated butterfly first, with the soles of the feet closer into the body and the chest forward and the back nice and straight, or feet a little bit forward and allowing the back to round. For this you could have a blanket or a cushion resting on your feet to then bring your head forward to rest on the blanket or the cushion, which is really nice stretch for the lower back. And here you can close your eyes. And then the third butterfly option is at the wall. So if you're going for at the wall, we bring our hip to the side, then swing our legs up the wall, and we're lying completely on our back. Again, soles of the feet are together and the knees are out to the side. So I think anything with the legs at the wall is a treat. So I'm going to finish with some of the postures at the wall towards the end of the class. So I'm going to start with the yang, just to work on my posture a bit. So seating on the cushion to help elevate the hips a bit, soles of the feet together, and I also take my socks off. Soles of the feet together, and first of all bringing the feet in closer. So 5 minutes in your preferred version of the butterfly. We'll also try the zipper toes again to open up the toes. So we're trying to thread each of the toes through each other, and I can not manage too many, just probably the first 2. You could also try threading the fingers through. So we're threading our fingers through our toes. And even that's quite tricky as well. But it is great to do, if you can, as much as possible, this zipper toes. So hope you are well, hope you're ready for Christmas, which will be a strange Christmas this year. As we all know, we'll all have different circumstances. I think if we practice yoga or practice yin, we can learn to accept the harder times, and we can also realise when there's good times, when we feel joyful, and then sometimes when we don't feel so joyful. But what we want to learn in yoga is also that there's some postures that we like and some postures that we don't like, but kind of nothing lasts. So if we're feeling really happy and joyful, know that and be mindful of that. But we need to realise that that won't last forever. But also, if things aren't so good, that they're not going to last forever as well. Hope that's made sense. Trying to do a bit of yoga philosophy there. So if you were in the more yang butterfly, we can just go to a bit more yin now, a bit more passive. And if we're doing, maybe we were doing the zipper or not, we can release the toes, allowing the back to round, bringing the head forward. About another 5 nice long deep breaths, deep as you can with your inhale, and really releasing out your exhale, letting all the breath out. Bring yourself out of butterflies nice and slowly, and stretch the legs forward. Shake out the legs. Notice sensations in that rebound as we come out of a yin pose. So we'll work on windshield wipers for a few rounds to get some internal and external rotation. So we've got the butterfly when we're hips are internally rotating, and now we've got external when we take knees down to one side, back to the centre, knees to the other side. So with the yoga, we're trying to bring balance into our movements, into our lives. So we might be doing a lot of seated during the day, sitting during the day. So I kind of think that yoga is nice for anti-sitting, to reverse the effects of sitting a lot, or anything that we do a lot, which could be eating, drinking, running, cycling, walking. Okay, So now we come into Sphinx for our second yin posture. So I think most of us know Sphinx by now, so we can have various, so it depends where we put our feet and our hands mainly in yin. That would intensify the effects of the posture. So I'm going to stay about 3 or 4 minutes in Sphinx. So be careful in Sphinx. It's one of the best and one of the most beneficial yoga postures. We just have to be a bit careful if we're not used to doing it, because we've got obviously the compression in our vertebrae. So we're strengthening our lower back here. And if in where we strengthen the body, we have to be careful because we just might not be used to it. Depending on how much yin you do in your week. So if you want to add a bit more intensity, if you want to add a bit more compression or a bit more strength, we could lift our feet up. That also might add a bit more stretch into the tummy, into the chest, into the front of the thighs, which some people we might need if they feel tight. So in butterfly, in the yin style, we would have had our spine flexed. This is putting the spine into extension. We can bring our legs down to maybe straighten the legs here if you want to. Here we could take a cushion, bring our elbows to rest on the cushion, which gives us a bit more extension, a bit more compression, a bit more of a back bend. So if you can only manage 2 yin postures a day, we can do yin every day, it's really good for us. The best 2 postures to do are the butterfly and Sphinx. Mainly because with butterfly we have the flexion of the spine, we have the hip opening, we have the adductors opening the inner thighs, opening the hip flexors. And then with the Sphinx obviously we're balancing out. So we've got extension of the back of the body and stretching of the front of the body. And the good thing with butterfly is we could do it while we're reading a book instead of like myself slouching in a chair. And Sphinx, we could be reading a book or watching a TED talk or a YouTube video. While we're in both postures, we don't need to be just being like yoga type. We can do everyday things in the butterfly and the Sphinx. What we need to do is to get down on the floor, which sometimes is the hardest part of starting to practice your own yoga at home. Is just getting down onto the floor. After you've done say 5 or 10 minutes of yin, maybe butterfly and Sphinx, then you might think, oh well, I feel nice and relaxed, I'll go into child pose, which is what we're going to do next. So just coming out of the Sphinx slowly. So notice where the sensations are happening as you lift come to tabletop maybe first, maybe cats and cows, breathing in as we lift up and breathing out, flexing the spine up towards the ceiling so we've got a rounded spine, and then we've got our compressed spine. So thinking about flexion and extension. So extension is your cow and flexion is your angry cat. And think about maybe what happens with your back most of the day, what activities you might be doing in your average day, and what is happening with the back. So now we're coming into child pose. So here you could have the cushion between your bottom and your heels, or you could have the cushion just to rest your head on, and the knees are just slightly apart. We want to feel as though we can rest our chest on our thighs. So coming forward into child pose, we're going to rest here and we're going to focus on breathing as deeply as possible into our side ribs, into our back ribs and into our lower back for 3 minutes. So all we're focusing on here is the as deep as possible breath in, all the way to the top, and then a really deep as possible breath out. So another 6 deep breaths. Again, focus on trying to make your breath as deep and slow and smooth as possible. And then we lift out again slowly from child pose, come into the counter pose. because we've had our legs bent for a while, we can straighten out one leg and straighten out the other leg. If you like, we can come into a gentle puppy dog, maybe walking one heel to the floor and bending one leg, so walking the dog, which is a nice stretch for our calves. If we have tight calves, maybe hold for a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One side and then change. And bringing our knees back down. So stretch number 4 is broken wing. This is one which isn't a favourite. Just chosen this for tonight to help us open our chest and sometimes helps us to feel a bit more energetic. So here we lie on our fronts and I'll go to my left first. So we stretch out both hands with the palms facing down, and then we're kind of turning onto our left side and just bending that left leg. We could bring the right foot forward, keeping the left leg straight or slightly bent, it's up to you. So with this one, our left ear down, left cheek down, the right foot can be pressing into the floor. And again, it doesn't really matter where your feet are or your hands are. So here, if you want to, you can take your right hand behind and stretch it over to just behind your back or on your right leg, it's up to you. So we just want to try and stay here, maybe not feeling comfortable, but it's just opening the chest. It's easing the thoracic spine as well. We're releasing that rounded back a little bit. It's about 6 more breaths. Okay, and slowly bring your right hand just by the side of the face and then come slowly forward. So we're on our fronts again, and then we go to the opposite side. So hands stretch out, press into the right hand, then we turn to look towards the left and bring the left hand so it's kind of by the face, and then we roll onto our right hand side. And bringing either the left foot back to send the left knee up, or the left foot comes in front of the right thigh. So we're just pressing our right hand either just into the floor next to our chest or next to our face, or we can stretch that left hand behind. It's up to you. So another 6 breaths. Bringing the left hand just at the side of the face, rolling back onto our front slowly. And then just bringing our hands forward, making a pillow with our hands. Bring the big toes together, and the heels out to the side. Maybe wiggle the hips side to side a little bit, and then rest a cheek on the pillow in crocodile, about 6 breaths here. And just bringing the hands by the side of the chest, press it into the hands, push up slowly. And just taking the heels back onto the bottom, back onto the heels, resting in child pose for about 6 breaths. And lift up slowly. So stretch number 5 is cat pulling tail. So here we're lying on our left side. So this is mainly a stretch for the quad muscles. So we're lying on our left side, trying to kind of lie in a straight line with the right hand slightly in front. Then we bring the right knee forward. So the right leg is resting on the floor. And then we're taking our left foot up and behind, and then see if we can hold onto the left ankle with the right hand, and trying to draw that left knee back. So we feel a stretch in our left thigh muscle, maybe the left hip flexors. And here you can have your foot up or your foot on the floor. Again, it's up to you. And rest our head on our ear or cheek on our left arm. Now if you want to go a little bit deeper, which is again working our thoracic spine a bit more, we would try and ease our body, the upper body, over to the left a bit. So our left shoulders, we're trying to see if we can draw our right shoulder to the floor as well. So we'll need to shuffle ourselves over to the left. A lot more intense, but great for opening the chest and squeezing the thoracic spine together, undoing the rounded spine. 6 more breaths here. Bringing ourselves out slowly, so maybe drawing the knees together, rolling onto our back. Might feel a bit fragile. Go slowly, take it easy if you like. If it feels good, we could draw the knees into the chest. So quite intense as we come out of cat pulling tail. It's quite nice to bring one knee into the chest and extend the opposite leg along the floor. Maybe change sides. Notice maybe the back is releasing. And both knees into the chest. Knees side to side. Maybe bringing the head up towards the knees, curling up in a ball. And then we'll get ready for cat pulling tail on the other side. So leg on our right side. Then our left knee comes forward. And then we've got the left hand reaching behind for the right ankle. So the foot can be up or down. If we can, we're drawing that right knee back. So we're feeling a stretch up the right thigh. Again, if you want to go a little bit deeper with this cat pulling tail, you would try to lie on your back, basically. So shuffling the shoulders over to the right hand side, seeing if we can draw our left shoulder to the floor. That means that the left knee might come up. That's fine. Just see where you feel the better stretch. And still seeing if we can draw our left knee back a bit. Depends what you want to work. If you want to work more opening your shoulders, then maybe lifting up the left knee a bit. If you want to work more on opening the thighs, forget about the shoulders and work on drawing the knees apart. So whatever you're working on here now, Another 6 breaths. Then we release out slowly, stretching out both legs, rolling onto our backs again. And working out what feels good for us as we go into the rebound or the counter pose. Okay, so rolling up to seated. So poses 6, 7 and 8 are kind of all intermingled. So we've got swan, reclining figure 4 and reclining, so swan I'll show you first, and reclining figure 4 or seated figure 4. So I'll show you swan first. So you've got your left foot and your left shin in line with the front of the mat, and then we're extending the right leg back. So for some people this won't feel good for the left knee, so that's why I've given you a couple more options. So if you're in swan, it's a great stretch for the outer left hip. It's great compression for the back if we're doing the proud swan. Also, the more we can extend back that right toe and keep that right leg stretched, we get a deep loosening off of our right hip flexors and the right thigh as well. So check first of all, maybe try it out and see if it feels okay for your left knee. Okay, so then we've got seated figure 4. So left ankle comes over the right thigh, and the right leg can first of all be out straight. Then we come on to pressing the right foot in, drawing our chest forward, we're walking the right foot in. The closer we can bring the chest to the left shin, the deeper stretch we'll get. And then if that doesn't feel good and you want to relax a bit more, we do reclining swan or reclining figure 4. So still a brilliant stretch for our left hips, our left glutes, left piriformis. We've just got our, first of all, our right foot on the floor, left ankle over right knee, which might be enough. Still great because we're ironing out the kinks in our back. Or we can take the right foot off the floor, push the left knee away, thread the hands through the triangle that the legs have made to take hold of underneath the right knee or just at the top of the right shin. And then we're drawing that right knee towards the chest. So whichever one you've chosen will be here for about 3 minutes. So if you had more time, you could start by spending 3 minutes in the swan. So could just try, say, spending a minute in each. So a minute in proud swan for compression at the back. opening up the front. So it's a bit like Sphinx, but it's a nice stretch now here for your left glute and your left hip. So if you're enjoying Swan, stay in Swan for a couple more minutes, or change to seated Swan. Still with the left ankle over the right thigh. So we're still working our left hip here, our left glutes. Closer we can bring our chest through to our shin, the deeper we'll feel that stretch in our left glute and our left hip. So if you're staying in Swan, you could come onto your elbows now into sleeping Swan. You could stretch out the hands and the arms if you want to. We've got about another minute, so we're going to go for the last minute in reclining Swan or reclining figure 4. Okay, so whichever your position you're in, making your way just to tabletop. Nice and slowly into tabletop. And then again we can extend one leg, extend the other. We lift up into a gentle down dog. And then coming to the other side for your version of Swan. So we'll try it again, maybe staying for the 3 minutes in the proud Swan. This time the right shin is forward. So proud Swan, hands into the floor, lifting the chest forward. Try to extend your left foot back a little bit maybe. Now we're getting a stretch in the right hip, the right glute. Or sleeping Swan, if your knee feels okay. So I'll stay here about a minute. If the knee doesn't feel good, we could go into the seated Swan or reclining Swan. Moving into seated Swan, stay in Swan if you like. So now my right ankle's over my left thigh. This side feels a bit tighter, so just stretch out your left leg if it does, or walk the left foot in. Trying to bring my chest closer to my shin, quite an intense stretch in the right hip, the right glute. So we could say in that seated swan if you like, or seated figure four, or we can relax a bit more in the reclining version. So this is right ankle over left knee, right knee away, left foot off the floor, thread the hands through to behind the left knee or on top of the left shin. The more we can bring that left knee in towards the chest, the deeper stretch for the outer right hip and the glute. Try not to lift your bottom too much off the floor though. Try to keep your tailbone and your lower back pressing into the mat. Bring yourself out slowly, bring the left foot down. So whichever version you're in, lying down on the mat and slowly stretching out both legs. As we breathe in, bring the feet together and stretch the arms above the head. Really point the fingers, point the toes, breathe in. And breathe out, bring the arms down, bring the knees into the chest. So number 10 stretch is reclining shoelace. So it's kind of similar to what we've just done. So you might be staying in reclining figure 4. So first of all, left ankle over right knee. That might be enough. You can gently take that left knee away. Feel the stretch as the hip opens a little bit. Then to go further, we bring the right foot off again. This time, either threading the hands underneath the right knee or on top of the right shin, or this time draw the left knee over so we've got a shoelace shape with the knees, okay, and then we take hold of the outside of the feet. So we're drawing the feet into our body now, and the left thigh or inner thigh might be resting on the chest, making sure we're not throwing our chin back. So we might need a cushion for the back of our head. We want the chin coming towards the chest. So if you can take hold of your feet, we're going to try the zipper toes again. So, but here we're threading our fingers through our toes as much as we can. So we've got these open toes. The day was saying that man with open toes has open mind, has open heart. We won't stay here too long. It's quite intense for the toes, quite intense for the hips, maybe a little bit intense for the knees as well. About another 6 breaths on this side. you're still in zipper toes, taking the fingers out, shaking the toes, shaking the ankles, and bring your right foot down and your left foot down, and then we go to the opposite side. So right ankle over left knee, pushing that right knee away. That might be enough. If we want to, we can go back into reclining figure 4. So threading the hands through, left hand, hands through under the left knee or on top of the left knee. Nice stretch for our right hips, right glute. Or if you want to, again now we're pushing the right knee so it's in line with the left knee. And again, taking hold of, first of all, maybe the outside of the feet, drawing the feet into the body. And again, if you want to, you can try the zipper toes, threading the fingers through the toes, trying to separate our toes, open our toes. You'll notice if you take your knees, you press your right elbow into the floor maybe, take your knees over to the left. It's a more intense stretch for your right hip. That's if you like intensity in these stretches. Some people do and some people don't. A few more breaths in this reclining shoelace. And releasing our toes. Shake out the ankles, shake out the legs maybe, stretching out the legs, one at a time, and stretch the arms above the head, deep breath in, breath out, bring the arms down, knees into the chest. And time for 2 more postures. So we've got caterpillar or corpse or shavasana. So caterpillar, I'll show you 2 options. So caterpillar, the first option, which isn't my favourite but I'll show it you, is seated caterpillar. So this time I'm going to I'll show you seated up on my cushion. So here I'm just going to put my socks back on. So we'll cool down in caterpillar and corpse. So this version is a lot of flexion for the back. The reason I don't like it is because I do a lot of flexion when I'm sat at my laptop or when I'm watching TV. My back's rounded, so this is why I don't really like this one. It's quite relaxing if I can just hug my cushion or blanket in, rolled up blanket, and rest my head like this. Quite relaxing. You can switch off, close the eyes. But I don't really feel like I'm getting much of a stretch. So the other version of caterpillar, where we're making the same shape, is legs up the wall. So great for the immune system. I've got my rug here. So again, like we did before with butterfly, we take our hip to the side and then swing the legs up. So we're making the same shape. It's just that I'm not flexing my back here. I'm not rounding my back, and my back helps to come into its natural alignment with the back on this floor. And then I can take my arms out to the side Bring the chin in towards the chest. And this is one you could do for a minute or 10 minutes every day. Great, the same as butterfly, sphinx. So if you get a chance, if you're off work over Christmas or the New Year, definitely recommend legs up the wall. Bringing fresh oxygen into the body, into the cells in the body, fresh nutrients, fresh blood. Taking the, like a detox, taking the staleness out of the legs, relieving fatigue in the legs. Another 6 breaths in caterpillar, 4 legs up the wall. Slowly draw knees into the chest. If you're in caterpillar, rowing onto your back, knees into the chest. So we'll get ready for Shavasana, or final relaxation. So making sure you're rested in a most comfortable position you can. If you've got your blanket, you could bring the blanket over you, maybe bringing an extra layer onto yourself. So corpse or final relaxation. If you need the cushion underneath your head, want the chin coming towards the chest, we can have the knees together and the feet apart with the legs bent up, or we can have the legs out straight, feet slightly apart and toes falling out to the side. Try to have your body central on the mat. Try to make sure your lower back isn't arching off the floor. So if it is, you might be able to bring a cushion underneath your knees, which helps to release and soften, ease any lower back pain or knee pain. Making yourself as comfortable as you can now. First of all, noticing your natural breath. If possible, breathing in and out through the nose. And here for 10 breaths or so, notice where you feel the body move on your in-breath and where you feel your body move on your out-breath. Completely noticing all of your breath. And we're getting ready now to come out of relaxation. So bringing the feet together, stretching out both legs, taking a deep as possible breath in. Point the fingers, point the toes, nice stretch. Breathing out, arms slowly down, knees into the chest, knees side to side. Maybe bringing the head towards the knees, curling up into like a small turkey shape. And then either relaxing a bit more, just knees into the chest, massaging the lower spine, or drawing the tummy in and roll up to seated, or take your knees down to the right hand side and just press into the left hand to lift up slowly. Okay, so thank you. See you soon. Hope you enjoyed. Feel peaceful. Thank you again. And bye. See you soon.